beautiful, enchanting, but absolutely terrifying. Mermaids are not creatures we want to mess with, and these videos prove that their existence is not something to celebrate over. This mermaid sends out a terrifying warning. Humans have this urge to explore the deep oceans, seeing what hidden mysteries that they're able to discover. However, in doing so, you land yourself in terrifying situations, such as this one. A couple researchers were trying to explore the hidden depths off the coast of Africa, trying to spot any new species. What they captured though was way out of their pay grade, because not even a second goes by where they see this human-like hand slap itself across the glass, startling everyone in the submarine. Its fingers are webbed much like a fish, but it's very clear that it has human-like fingers. It only does this for a second before drastically swimming away, as if it was sending out a warning to those guys that they are not welcome here. Is this mermaid trying to hide something from us? This mermaid was captured after attacking a diver. We often forget that mermaids and sirens can be hostile creatures. They are not our friends. This magical looking footage of a mermaid swimming away into the dark depths of the ocean has a horrifying backstory to this. While on vacation, a man decided to plan a scuba diving day for himself and record his experience. His biggest mistake was doing this alone, because in the end, he truly wasn't. While taking a zoom into some coral reefs, he spotted movement out of the corner of his eye. At first he thought it was a shark, until he saw a human hand lunge towards him and smack the camera right out of his hands. Thankfully though, he was able to quickly catch it and continue recording, flipping it over to his attacker. And that's what we see here, a mermaid trying to swim away after the encounter. This mermaid was trapped on a beach. Plenty of things wash up along our beaches, but what happens when you experience an entire mermaid? While taking a night walk along the beach, a passerby could have sworn they heard groaning and crying coming from somewhere. Coming closer towards the water, they were able to get a better visual of where this sound was emerging from. It was a mermaid covered head to toe in a bunch of garbage that was left in our oceans. He immediately sought help from other people to come over and help release her. They tried to approach her carefully as to not startle her, but that clearly didn't work. They couldn't understand her language as she was yelling and thrashing at them. She felt that they were going to hurt her, but in the end they managed to carefully take off the ropes that were constraining her and released her back into the water. A young mermaid washed up along the beaches of South Africa. I can only imagine how terrified this young mermaid must have been to travel so far from home. However, this is the first time we see a mermaid with a more whale-like, shark-like tail. It doesn't look like your average colorful fish tail like the Little Mermaid. There is something severely wrong with this mermaid though, and based on all the flies that are constantly surrounding her and jerking movements, I feel she might be in critical condition. It doesn't help that everyone surrounding her keeps placing their hands along her tail, trying to figure out if she's real or not. Much like other sea creatures though, sometimes they'll be beached on land because they are either sick or passing on, and this sadly might be the case for this little mermaid right here. What are your thoughts on this? Japan's notorious mermaid mummy was discovered inside a temple. It all started with its first discovery in 1736, where a fisherman accidentally caught this creature while making his rounds across the ocean. At first he thought it was just a normal fish, so he decided to put it up for sale in his market. However, one person sees the strange fish and comes to the conclusion that this might in fact be a real mermaid. Quickly taking off the fisherman's hands, the man turns it into a family heirloom and as an offering to a temple, keeping it around for generations to come. Everyone came around to worship this thing, believing that it was the legendary Ningyo. Now, in our time, the researchers that came across this thing during their travels, they needed to see what this thing was for themselves. So for 40 years, this thing has now been locked up under their protection, and they continue to do tests on it. Do you have any weird mermaid stories? Let me know down below, and I'll be sure to talk about it in the next video.